look at Balancer, the Balancer.
Okay.
So, and I apologies for anything being an eye chart, or maybe it's just because I finally have my glasses on. It looks
You want to make it a little bigger?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So one of the questions came up. Somebody asked a question about why the price of the Balancer Pool token had changed. And I don't know if a lot of people know that, but the Balancer Pool token price changes when there's a trade.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And that, it changed when there was a trade. And when I looked at it earlier today, there was a trade. And so if you go to the Balancer Pool token, and if you're connected or not, you walk around, you see balances, swaps, holders, about. If you go take a look at, let's see where the first trade that happened after May occurred, you would see that there was a trade right here. Before you jump into that, there was a trade for for about almost 1 WPE for about 174,000 lift tokens, for which that trade paid this pool $1.1 thousand.
Right.
So at a 10% swap rate, is it still a 10% swap rate? I think it is because you can't change that.
Right.
10% swap rate, that's $1.1 thousand. So I was kind of curious and see what made this whole thing happen. And so what we started to do is the first thing I would do if I were you, I would see that little pop-up button right there.
Right here.
I would do that, and that's going to take you right to that transaction on Etherscan.
Right.
Right. And this transaction, I guess let's zoom into that transaction action section. It sounds like a conjunction junction, but
yeah. So is that good?
Just scroll down. So what happened? I mean, this is what I see. At some point for this transaction, somebody borrowed 5.7 ETH from Didex. And so we asked this question earlier, what the heck is Didex? Why don't they use vowels, right? So
you want me to go over there?
Yeah, let's just bounce over there and take a look. So we looked at Didex. Looks like a place where you can go use leverage and borrow, and you can maybe participate in arbitrage. So sometimes people borrow a lot of one token on one exchange, move it to another exchange, and then pay it back immediately, almost like a flash loan.
Like a flash loan. Yep.
Right. And so let's take a look at this. So we're in this transaction action. So it looks like somebody has borrowed that much ETH from Didex, and they took that ETH on Uniswap and transformed, and traded it for almost 1 WPE.
Right.
So the next thing they did with that WPE was they swapped that WPE for Lift. They didn't do it on Uniswap. Where did they do it?
Balancer. And
the only place you can do it on Balancer is in the BPT. They're all BPT in this pool. That's the only place that exists.
Right.
Okay. There's no place else to get it. All right.
Yep.
Well, they could have got it on Uniswap. So I'm assuming that the price on Uniswap was at a variant from where the price where it was on Balancer. So they immediately took that lift that they found on Balancer, and they went and sold it. They swapped it for WPE on Uniswap.
Right.
So I'm assuming they made money, right?
Sure.
Right. So look, they did. Look, so they took 0.99 WPE in the second mine, and they came out with 1.0 WPE out of Uniswap.
Right.
Right. And then, because I think this might be one of those flash loans, I do not know for sure. Right. They took that WPE and they swapped it back out for Ether. Then they went back out to Ether and they repaid what they borrowed, and they took whatever that delta was home in that flash loan. And this transaction happened, if you can scroll down, see how fast it happened. This transaction.
Where do you see? Down further?
I don't even know. I'm just looking, I guess. I don't know. It all happened in one, it happened pretty fast.
Yes, very quickly.
It's one transaction.
Right.
Right. So that transaction was let's assume that I know what I'm talking about. This transaction was a flash loan for $15,000 or so, and people bought and swapped lift, and
Right.
they made money on WPE.
Right.
When that transaction occurred,
Yeah.
the BPT, the balancer repriced this at the current price of WPE.
Right. And remember, right, Vince, what you're saying, May 12th was the last time it updated, right?
Yep.
So we all know what happened between May 12th and now. We all have experienced how Ethereum has been cut in half, right? Is that right? I mean, that's kind of the idea of what we're talking about. It's not like $400,000 all of a sudden was taken out of here. That's not what happened. What happened was the contract updated all the tokens when this transaction happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, look at these. These are the swaps,
Right?
This is it. This is all the stuff that happened in this contract.
Right.
There was another contract for Pixel for that, for probably, for $4,000, and another one for, I'm assuming it's $4,000 because that's a $400 swap fee. The swap fee is 10%, right?
Yeah.
But if we dug into that, we see another transaction. So that is how a swap transaction, and how these updates happen. I don't know if this was a bot, this was a person, but this is how it happened. And so that's the first thing I wanted to talk about.
Well, and can I kind of, and I don't know if I'm jumping on you or all.
No, dude, you better watch it because I'm all the way over here. I'm gonna have Rick on. Rick's gonna come over, and we're both gonna sit.
Rick, yeah, the New England crew. New England.
Okay, so have at it.
What I'm saying is, I think people get confused of DeFi, decentralized financing, which this Balancer Pool is, and yield farming, right? Where we actually lock up that DeFi, the DeFi index token, and I'll show you mine.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Go.
Do you see what I'm? Because they get it confused about, like, this is locked, right? Because look, everybody, I can add liquidity right now, and I can add these tokens, right? And when I do that and add liquidity, I'm not locked into a 12-month contract. Okay, this is DeFi, and if I just did that and I didn't take the receipt, which the receipt is, let me go over down here. The receipt is this DeFi index pool. And that's what I had as a receipt. So that BPT token was called that for me. Okay. I named it a DeFi index. Okay. That is the receipt of this pool. That is what I took over to bees.social and staked for a 12-month lock-in. That's what's locked in. So anybody that did that, yes, now this pool is locked for them. But if they did not do that, and it was a choice, right? If it was a choice, you could have kept it right here. And if you wanted to move in and out, do those type of flash loans, do anything you want in this Balancer Pool, you're more than free to do that, because all you would do is remove liquidity. But
you could be locked,
right?
And still, just like you said, and still do flash loans.
Right.
We'll look at the reason that some people, chose to go in and lock their capital, is because we're being compensated the opportunity costs for not having our money to go buy a Tesla with, or something like that, or just, another one of, a whole lot of Tim's t-shirts with.
Yeah, that's a lot of t-shirts.
That's right.
Would be, we're also getting, to compensate for that, we're also getting seeds.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And those seeds are, it's like saying, hey, look, I have a Vanguard retirement plan, and, Vanguard calls me up and says, hey, Vince, you're just such a swell guy. As long as you keep it here appreciating in our retirement plan, we're going to give you these seeds, and you can go put it into, you can put it into the New York Stock Exchange and yield out whatever, Bank of New York, Citibank or whatever. And, that's, what you do with that is on you. You don't have to, just be in here. And so, because you're locked up with us, the opportunity cost of you not going to a competitor, because we use your money to do other stuff with, they don't do that in Vanguard. I'm just saying it.
Right.
That's why you're getting the seeds. Now, so to your point, this lock-in is a lock-in from the point at which you got into, you staked into that pool on bees.social, and you'll be locked in for that period.
Right.
You're getting compensated in seeds for that relative to the amount of your capital.
Right.
Which is a really good thing. And the other thing that people question whether or not their seeds have value. And we're very early in this process, but regardless of early and or late, if you've taken your seeds and you've placed them into one of the farms, and I'm sorry if it sounds like inside baseball, if that's the first time, if it's the first time you've heard it, if you put seeds inside of a farm, you will yield out tokens in one of these from one of the projects that's sponsoring the farm, right?
Right.
And so that's what the seeds are for. And so as things that are yet to be announced happen,
Yeah.
you know, your seeds should really be worth the time.
Of course.
Worth what you're doing.
Of course.